Good morning, everyone. Yes, I'm here, and my room's still dark outside. The family's coming home from vacation today, and I have to get some things done. So I'm starting early. Yes, I want it to be perfect when you get home. Tired from a 12-hour drive. And just be able to, nice and clean everywhere, flop, and be happy to be home, right? Yes, that's what I can do. Um, Communication. Realized yesterday it was a whole day of communication, right? Communicate. Uh, and of course, things come up where you go, oh, I got to remember that next time and ask the extra question. Yes. And that's how we learn, right? It is what it is, and to get upset over certain things, it's. I guess as one gets older, one realizes, been there, done that, but that little thing didn't happen yet, or it was different before, so one assumes, right? Supposes, maybe. We got all them words for that. So, and a very interesting thing happened. We have birthdays coming up this month, and one birthday is tomorrow, is the little boy I take care of. And I got him a little present, and my daughter ordered it. And since the last time I also ordered something, or she did for me, it came here to the house. So I was supposed to get here yesterday, and it didn't. Oh, and I was oh no, it's not here. And his birthday party is today, so it's like, and I really wanted to give it to him yesterday. Yes, yeah. And so he would have it today, but so it didn't work out that way. Well, later my husband comes and he brings a little bag and says, "Oh, this is for John's birthday." And I thought it was from my daughter, who had also gotten him something. Turns out, no, that was the present, okay? And it went to my daughter's house. She didn't tell me that it wasn't coming here, right? So here we're all day waiting for it. And of course I told him, I said, hey, there's a present coming for you. Right, yes. And like, when he went home, and we were all going, it didn't get here, and he was disappointed, and we were disappointed, and then it shows up an hour later. So next time, right? Is it coming to my house or your house, honey? Which is fine, because my husband's going to take my oldest granddaughter, and they're going to go to the birthday party, so hopefully they'll be able to take it. My that particular daughter's birthday is coming up, and my daughter's here's birthday is coming up just 3 days later. And so I'm thinking, I'd like to get her something nice, this or that. And since I'm here, right, there's things to do, but I didn't really come up with anything. And just to make something, I don't do that. Sometimes people get my birthday presents or whatever or something much later, because that's the perfect thing. That's what I'm going to make, right? Yes, and oftentimes, not always, right? People are really excited about it when then they get it. So just to give a present, so you have given a present, I don't do that. I'm not a, no. Well, it's the thought that counts, maybe. But, so, my granddaughter had this, she knows something, my oldest granddaughter, that's her mommy, she knows of something, this bag, okay, it's a beach bag. It's one of those like the Coach purses where it's a big thing right now. And anyway, and she wanted to get one of those for her mom and for her birthday, but not knowing, right? So she knew where one could get one, and I asked my husband, since he's here, again, helping one of our children with a water heater problem, this, that. And I asked him, I said, hey, would you take us, and take us there, and so we could get that bag, and I could look. And it's a small store. It's not. I didn't want to go to Walmart or anything. I'm sorry. I mean, it's just not. I don't want to go to Walmart and get people presents. I just don't. It's all just okay. All right, all right. There's some good things, I'm sure, but not for what we wanted to do. So we go. That all works out. We go, and the store's already closed at 5 o'clock. Oh, but we saw the bag, and it's $110 for the big one, and then the smaller one we didn't know how much. I went and looked online. I think that one would be about $80 or $90 or something. I'm not sure. And she had exactly $110 saved up. I'm going, $110 for a 10-year-old to give a present like that to mom. It was just wonderful, and she's willing to spend it. And but the store was closed, and so we ended up going having ice cream. Yeah, my husband treated us. Yeah, it was so nice. We went back home and dropped my granddaughter off at her friend's house for a sleepover, and came back here, and we started talking, and I looked up to see if one could get it cheaper online, and I'm looking and said, oh wow, there's the same exact bag, it looks like, that costs what, $30, $40, yeah, half off, yeah. But it wasn't that one, okay, particular brand. So we talk about it. I'm going, well, I don't see why she can't just get that. I could get my older daughter here to order that, and then my younger daughter would know, right? And my husband said something. He says, I really don't like when someone comes up with an idea that then really people like, and it does cost money because it's a really good product, and then people start making knockoffs and in a way disrespect the invention of someone else. And I'm listening to him and going, man, he's got a point. But again, right, what, Levi jeans, that's not good enough anymore. You got to have the American Eagle, which costs so much more. Okay, all right, I'm just saying. And but I thought about what he said and gone, yeah, you know what? He has a point there with the taking someone else's idea and making it into a cheaper product, this snap, to sell it cheaper, right? Rather than, okay. So I said, hey, you know what? I have an idea. Why don't we talk to our granddaughter and say, hey, I didn't get a present. He didn't get a present for his daughter, which we'll do anyway together. But so I said, why don't we both pitch in and say, hey, how about we divide the cost of this bag in thirds, and then, right, yes. And I said, yeah, let's pitch that idea to our granddaughter and see if she's okay with that, right? Yes, kind of share the present to give, yeah. And then make it that one present my daughter really would love and want, right? And then would have the actual product that someone invented, right? That came from, okay, do you understand what I mean? So so it was an interesting day yesterday on communicating and trying to figure out, right, how to not give in excess per se, right? And for a person to have really what they want, right? So she could end up with 3 presents, right? But it's going to be the one she really wants and the brand she really wants. Okay, you getting? Huh. And I think that will be really good. Yeah? And then, of course, again, then also my husband says, well, how about we not order that from online, but go back to that little store and also support, right, a local store and paid a little extra. Right? Oh, okay. There you go. It's all around was great. Some things where it's that's why that didn't work out with the present for the boy. But then, why would the reason the store was already closed by the time it got there? Because we still needed some little bit of organizing when it came to that, right? Yes, and it's almost as if we weren't willing to step back, right? Reflect before we react with something like that. And in a way, right, Spirit World and God said, okay, this is going to be really good, but their thoughts are already going a little bit in the wrong direction, especially mine. And so let's give her some time to actually think about it. Store's closed. Oh, well, if we would have actually found out how long that store had been open, then that would not have happened. Anyway, interesting. Interesting on how one learns every day. If you're willing to just take a step back, look at the whole situation, so it doesn't become a frenzy thing. Well, how do we get this? And how can we get this cheaper? And just go, hey, there's a really nice solution. Let's see what our granddaughter, and we're not just going to tell her, and again, let's see what our granddaughter thinks about it, and if she's comfortable with sharing that present, giving that present to her mom, or does she want, yes, just to get it herself? We'll find out. Yes, we'll let you guys know. Anywho, so there it is. And I really want to get my oldest daughter, I thought about it, maybe my husband will pitch in too. I wanted to get her a little porch fireplace. She really wants one of those. And man, you can spend a lot of money on those again, and I don't think that as often as it will be used, okay. It doesn't have to be something really complicated, right? Yes. Anywho. All right, let's get going here. I had a nice day yesterday. It was just great. Again, just such a joy to be around these children. Mention that real quick. I listened to a little video of a guy talking who comes from someplace in Africa and then managed to get here or something. I don't know. And becomes this neurosurgeon. I don't know what. And he talks about education, on how the education in our country is just going downhill for our children, and that children should have a choice of college to go to, this and that. I'll tell you something about that. First of all, what places are they talking about where the education is going so downhill? Because it's not happening here. The children that I've been around here, 4 of them, of which one of them isn't in school yet, she's still in preschool, they're exceptionally smart children, and they know their stuff. So, yeah, okay. And then I think back to my children, well, where they went to school, eventually, I homeschooled them, and then eventually when they did go to school, they did also all exceptionally well when it came to their smarts. Yeah, my son was in his own ideas on studying. But they all knew, again, the materials. They knew their history, they knew their science, they knew their math, their spelling, their reading, their whatever, okay? So then they went on to, all 4 of them actually went to colleges, and good ones. And 2 of them did exceptionally well, and 2 of them, it just wasn't for them. And one of them, I have to say, if not both of them, the way that they behaved and conducted themselves while going to college, well, okay then. It had nothing to do with the choice of college. It had to do with their own behavior and willingness to make something out of the time that they spent in college. So again, I don't think that children need to go and look at the whole country from a certain state, from their own state, and go and look at, I want to go there rather than here, where they can get the exact same education again with their own willingness to put the effort in and conduct themselves properly with studying and this and that. You don't have to go from California to New York to an art school. And I know someone who did, who let their child, they had a lot of money, and it cost them, it was so much money just to move that child there, and it ended up in nothing. Okay? Absolutely nothing. Probably a bad mistake the parents made when it came to that child. Well, anyway, first-hand experience. This wasn't a first-hand experience. All of my children went in state colleges. They had the grades, and they were given all the scholarship money, this and that. And my youngest one, who did exceptionally well, who did that, and has no student loans. None. Zero. Right. Yeah. And that's not because of her skin tone, okay? It's because she did really well in high school, and when the college that she ended up going to here in Kentucky saw that her grades and her, again, they probably look at behavior as well, this and that, her conduct and what she was into, this, they wanted her. They wanted her, and there you go. Yeah. Now, my oldest one wanted to go, this was reading Georgetown, to a college here that was more of a private college, and she wanted to go there because of the horses. Ended up not having nothing to do, more or less, with the horses. But that's what she wanted to do, and we helped her out some. She did have a little bit of student loans she had to pay off, and she did. Yes, she did. So, again, yeah. So is it really the education system that's so bad out there and so unavailable, for kids coming out of high school? And are our schools so bad at teaching our children anymore what they need to know in order to get into a college with good grades, yes, and then if it's in-state, have basically a free ride? Is it? Or does the problem lie somewhere else? Just asking. Because in my surroundings, what that guy was talking about isn't true. Just isn't true. Done. There. And then certain things that are, being pushed into schools, the parents have to just step up. I did that too. Yeah. I give you a very simple example. So smoking is one of those things, and where we are in a little county, okay, it's still a thing. And so what? Not my problem. But it became a problem when my oldest one continuously would come home and just about bust her bladder and go, aren't you going to the bathroom at school? No, Mom. First of all, there's smoking in there, which, okay, but it's not just that. It's just all the toilet seats have burn marks on them. And she said, I'm not sitting on that. So I called the school and said, hey, what's going on here? How come you don't have at least a couple of toilets that, maybe just write non-smokers. Don't do it on the other ones or something. So I said, see, I'm not going to go and say, oh, why you haven't smoked? Okay. And and they're like, well, we're trying. So, well, you're trying what? Just replace the seats. Can't cost that much to replace them seats, at least a couple of them. And, nothing happened. So I went to the superintendent of the school. I talked to him, and he's like, well, we're planning on this. And I said, hey, look, let me tell you something. I got the little bit of runaround, though we were sitting right face to face, and I said, This is not healthy for my daughter to come home with a bladder just about busting every day. No, that's not good. You guys need to make, if, I get it, yeah, well, what are you going to do if people just smoke in the bathroom or whatever because they don't have an area to go to? Oh, it's not legal. You're like, oh, whatever, yeah. And you got to make sure that the ones that don't smoke and don't, that they have also an environment where God Almighty, they can go and relieve themselves, right? In a proper environment. Come on now. Anyway, I said, send your wife there to the bathrooms and go and see if she wants to sit down and take a pee. Huh? Go on. You know what? They were replaced just like that. Done. Taken care of. Huh? Yes? Well, there have been some other things, and if I didn't get and it was never, as I said, it was never just wanting to push my own ideas through or whatever. Just simple things that should be in place regardless and taken care of. Yes? Okay. And there were other instances, if I did not get to hear what I wanted to hear as a parent, where changes were made or something was fixed or this or that, I said, well, then I'll call Frankfurt. I'll go higher. I'll go as high as I have to go in order for you to make the environment that my child is in proper. If I can do that, any parent out there should do that. They are our children. They spend so much time in school. So there it is. If there's something that you don't want your child to be around, then as a parent, you pipe up. If your own piping up doesn't do any good, you have more pipe up. Right? If there's enough parents, they're saying, no. And we have some really amazing examples out there on what works. For example, the dads that go to the school, right, where they take rotations and go and make sure. So why you're not in school? Dads make a big difference. If they're there as parents in a school that has some problems, that need to be addressed. But supposedly, parents are being pushed out of schools, so to not interfere, well, again, who's paying the salaries of them people? I said, there's enough that parents can do, but if you don't do anything, well then guess what? Yes? Okay. Had my say? It's not as bad out there as people want you to believe. And again, if there are things going on, one peacefully goes in, yes. The only time that I would get, wait a second, let me get this straight. You believe what? You think that's not necessary because of what? Well, then let me show you a little article on how bad it actually is when girls that age can't go to the bathroom and do what my daughter has been doing. Said, the health of my child here is also in question. Oh. There were other things where, like with vaccinations, this and that, where my youngest one had some allergic reaction to one, which I thought, my child doesn't need that. My child's not like that. And I know that's not going to happen, this and that. So, okay, but all right. And I went, after we found out that she's allergic to that, I went and then, well, she can't come. So I said, okay, so here it is. I'm going to bring you a piece of paper, and then we're going to get that notarized together, that you said this, I told you that, from a doctor, and if anything happens to my child, you will be the one taking responsibility for that. Oh, guess what? Oh, no, there is this, no, it'll be fine, it'll be fine. Okay. As I said, sometimes you're being told something that, well, that has it, but then it turns out that, no, that's just something that they're telling you, but when you go and read up on it yourself, you're going, no, that is not a mandatory thing. And if there is a good reason, for example, for a child not to get a vaccination, then that's fine. Yes, see? Okay. Well, anyway, little common sense. Well, it makes a lot of sense. So, there we are. Yes, I get that we have some problems, this and that, but if there are some problems in certain places in our country yeah, well, you need to address that in your own community, in your own schools, this and that, in your own cities, in your own states. Don't make it sound like it's happening all over the United States, because it isn't. Okay? There. And I heard another thing today, though I really have great respect for this guy, that the Bibles are being ripped from our hands. Really? Well, mine's right here, and I take it everywhere. And guess what? Nobody's tried to rip that from my hands yet. Oh. Old bones therapy. These were the stickers from my knee sleeves. Reminding me, put them on. I know, why would I put them there? I don't know, it just felt the right thing to do. Stickered up my Bible. Well, I had to put something around it to protect the sleeve here on it. So, sleeve stickers for sleeves. Anywho, so there it is. Have my say. Victory over the Ammonites. 1 Samuel 11. About a month later, Nahash the Ammonite marched up and laid siege to Jabesh in Gilead. Huh? Now, who the heck is Nahash? Oh, the Ammonite. Oh. Okay. Jabesh and Gilead. All the men of Jabesh said to Nahash, make a treaty with us, and we will be your subjects. Oh, there you go again. Nahash the Ammonite replied, I shall make a treaty with you only on this condition, that I put out all your right eyes, and I will make it a taunt to the whole of Israel. Whoa. Now here again, though, now I thought that they wanted a king so that, and Samuel said that, to take care of the enemies of the Israelites. But here, when Nahash marches on someone on Israel, they're going, let's make a treaty and we become your servants. They're so willing to just become someone else's people so easily, right? Again, it says, hey, yeah, good luck with that. We're not going to just stay by idle, so we're going to tell you what, you go back home and you leave us alone, and then none of us has to die or something. Where's the counsel here again? From whom, actually? The Levites. But it sounds to me like the Levite tribe is walking out the door, right? Yes? Right. Well, anyway, so here we are again. And here's Nahash. He wants to, what? Be interesting to know why Nahash thinks, again, why does he think that the Israelites are so weak that he can actually come up with a request like that, if it really happened that way, or if he actually really said that, right? Well, anyway, I said, nobody's ripped this yet out of my hands, right? Nobody ever tried this. Now, actually, I found that when people see that I carry my Bible around, they're like, oh, you're the Bible. Oh, wow, this is a big Bible. So, yeah, it is. And are more pleasantly surprised rather than, oh, interesting too. All right. Oh, dear me, I am already on the go, aren't I? The elders of Jabesh said to him, give us 7 days' grace while we send messengers throughout the territory of Israel, and if no one comes to our help, we will come out to you. Hey, Nahash, give us 7 days. We're going to go and see if we can actually defeat you, and then maybe after that you can do what you want to do. This is so weird. Really? Is this how things worked? No, it's gonna wait for 7 days, right? All right, all right. This is it's so funny. All right, okay. Ah, the way people think. The messengers came to Gibeah of Saul and reported this to the people, and all the people wept aloud. Now Saul was just then coming in from the fields behind his oxen, and he said, "Oh, wait a minute, the prince is still working the fields? Oh, okay. What is wrong? Why are the people weeping?" They explained to him what the men of Jabesh had said, and the Spirit of Yahweh seized on Saul when he heard these words, and he fell into a fury. He took a yoke of oxen, cut them into pieces, and sent these by messengers throughout the territory of Israel with these words: "Anyone who will not march with Saul will have the same done to his oxen." At this, a panic from Yahweh swept on the people. So here Saul is taken over by Yahweh with fury, and the people of Israel are taken over by what now? A panic. Also by Yahweh. It's just so funny. On the people, they marched out as one man. Saul inspected them at Bezek. There were 300,000 of Israel and 30,000 of Judah. Why are they separate? Are they also a tribe? Then he said to the messengers who had come, "This is what you are to say to the people of Jabesh and Gilead. Tomorrow, by the time that the sun is hot, help will reach you." The messengers went and reported this to the people of Jabesh, who were overjoyed. They said to Nahash, "Tomorrow we shall come out to you, and you can do whatever you like to us." Ooh. The next day Saul disposed the army in 3 contingents, which burst into the middle of the camp during the dawn watch and slaughtered the Ammonites until high noon. The survivors were so scattered that no 2 of them were left together. Okay, there you go. Saul is proclaimed king. Oh, that's what it took for him to become king. The people then said to Samuel, "Who said, 'Must we have Saul reigning over us?' Hand the men over for us to put them to death." "No one must be put to death today," Saul said, "for today Yahweh has intervened to rescue Israel." Samuel then said to the people, "Let us now go to Gilgal and reaffirm the monarchy there." The people then all went to Gilgal, and there at Gilgal they proclaimed Saul king before Yahweh. They offered communion, sacrifices before Yahweh, and there Saul and all the people of Israel gave themselves over to great rejoicing. I'm assuming that great rejoicing means they all got drunk. Danielle. Well, I don't know. They party a lot, sounds like. Then they're inspired by God. Anywho, so there it is. That's 1 Samuel 11, victory over the Ammonites. Okay, so what could this part tell us? Well, one thing for sure is that one thing that God, no doubt, would like to tell the Israelites after all that is, when you stick together and you make your power known, then what? And again, was the slaughter of the Ammonites necessary? Well, they were. Okay, was the slaughter of the Ammonites necessary? How many were there? Obviously not that many. Nahash thought, the dude of the Ammonites thought that Israel is so disunited, that this'll be easy peasy, right? Yes? And, Saul kind of came up, well, you know what? My brothers and sisters, the people of Israel, they're so weak-minded when it comes to anything. I'm going to have to make sure that I'm going to show them what I'm capable of, and sacrifice his own oxen to show us that this is what's going to happen to yours. How? It's one guy. Saul. And he's still working the fields, though he's the prince of whatever, right? Of the people. I mean, the Israelites could have just said, oh, yeah, I don't think so. You're just one dude. Oh, he wasn't put in place yet because there were some that said, no, we're not going to have a king. Or was it just, no, we're not going to have Saul as our king? Which was it? Right? And so here they rally. Okay, well, let's stand together. Let's get this done and go and protect the people. They could have just gone and stood there and said, Nahash, our whole people came together and we got this many soldiers. Are you really sure you don't want to just go home with your crew? Let's make that treaty. Now we're going to have a treaty according to what we want. Or we could have the same treaty that you requested. And we'll take your right eyes out. Could have done that if the story is true. Why not? No, another slaughter happened. Was it really necessary? And again, what kind of reputation did then the Israelites have again? What kind of reputation was God given, if any? Instead of Nahash going home with his arms and say, whoa, okay, and letting everybody else around them know, don't mess with them. Because when it comes down to it, they'll stand together. But they're also merciful. They teach about a merciful God. Yes? No. But according to the story, it didn't go that way. Again. Yes? Yeah. I don't know. It's just so sad to see that, right? One wants to, what I hear sometimes is that, well, that was so many thousands of years ago and people were really simple-minded and they didn't have the education we have today and that comprehension of, yes, after so many thousands of years, I guess we have lost more and more of the ape in us or whatever. But at that time, and the Neanderthalers, but at that time, so many thousands of years ago, people probably were way more savage. All right, I'm sorry. God would align himself and choose a people with these type of savage tendencies still? I'm just saying, right? Yes? I'd like to give people from thousands and thousands of years ago a bit more credit than that. Right? And yet I'm a bit flabbergasted over on how things were dealt with, considering all the instructions that they had from God. All these are complicated in many ways on how the tent of meeting and the tabernacle was created and built, and then the burnt offerings, and then all that stuff. Right? If God thought that was too complicated for them to understand, or that their mindset or their capabilities of heart to mind thinking, that wasn't there yet, then he wouldn't have done that, and he wouldn't given all these instructions to Moses, right? And Aaron, all, right? Yes? So it must have already been there. The capabilities were there. It just seems as if Israel just never really executed God's will, God's ideal, God's plan, God's restoration properly. Yes? That's what it sounds like. I guess we're still dealing with some of that, right? What war that we have in this world right now comes to mind. And someone tried to talk to me about this. Do you know how many millions already, how many people already died, and it's getting worse, this and that? Well, I guess it's running its course again. again. What if people would have been ready all around the world? All around the world. We're not on a national level anymore, as it was at Jesus' time, with just Israel, for example. We're at a world level now. What if all the armies around the world, say the United States, kind of has been in the past, I don't know how it is now, had great influence or guidance around the world with many different countries and continents, this and that. What if the leadership of the United States, as soon as the trouble started, the threat started from the one country to the other, would have stood together and said, now let me tell you, we've already made a plan to stand behind that particular country that you're trying to attack. So how about not? Don't do that. And if that one country would have seen, the leadership of that country would have seen, oh, they're not staying on their own. They're not standing by themselves. They have the rest of the world behind them, and we're not going to beat the rest of the world. That war could have been prevented. Not only that, but it would have taught other countries around the world that, nope, you're not going to do that. But the United States first has to take a stance with God. We have to obey his instructions. We do. And we have to have a leadership. Like what? So there it is. Right? Yeah. What did I start out with? Communication. You guys are just... And if one doesn't quite got the communication system within their own surrounding together, you got to take a step back. Whoop, the shop is closed. You can't just go in there and the shop is closed. Then you take a step back and say, okay, we got to organize ourselves. How are we going to do this together in a sensible way where everybody will profit and some will just have to pull in their tails and march back home? So it sounds to me like the intelligence level from thousands and thousands of years ago hasn't much progressed to today then. Or it's kind of the same, isn't it? Well, anyway, so there it is. Yeah, I mean, one could just cry and this and that about it all, and I'm just not that kind of person. Yes. It hurts my heart deeply. I feel God's heart hurting over many different things. And yet, I still have to live life and show God it's okay. Interesting. I guess sometimes I'm the one who encourages God. Yes? I'm the one who gives God hope. I'm the one who sends love and appreciation and gratefulness and thankfulness to my Father, my heavenly parents in heaven. That takes a person that's kind of balanced a little bit, right? Yes? Yeah. So, I have to keep my spirits up. I have to keep my positive outlook in life up. Not just for the people around me, but for God. Yes? Yeah. Well, there you go. That's all I have to share this morning. God's love and blessings always. May He protect you, and I will talk to you all another time.